2017 enthusiasm, guys. Way to go.
I am so excited.
Two Bards holiday spectacular.
Okayness.
Spectravaganza.
Specky dokey. Here we are.
Episode.
Born to be Kings. Episode 196? 5.
195.
Episode 195. Oh, right, because this is going out as audio only. However, if you're listening to this as audio only, go to YouTube and watch it, because we're stupid looking, and you should enjoy that.
Yes.
And we have so many visual gags planned.
We have nothing planned. We planned 0 things. We shed a guest. So
yeah.
Mr. Thomas Brophy was going to be here.
Yes.
Mr. Tom Bro. So yeah, how's it been going, folks? How's it hanging? How's this holiday season?
Great.
Cool.
It started early for us this year. Actually, because my wife's always on top of things, like right from the jump. I'm usually kind of.
I know.
Oh yeah.
No.
Okay.
Of course I don't know.
I'm usually the one who's waits until probably the third week of December before I should probably do some Christmas shopping and stuff. Mm-hmm. But not this year. It was right after Thanksgiving. Boopity boop boop boop.
Yeah.
It's coming in the mail.
Good for you.
Mm-hmm. Amazon is yeah.
It's the way to go. I don't know.
I think they should make their new headquarters on the North Pole. I mean, let's just be fitting at this point. Plus the land value. I mean,
what would that do to Amazon
It's
Prime,
just
though?
water up there. That would be difficult, actually.
Or at least soon will be by this time next year.
No, it was already. But last year, I don't know if you saw it. It melted.
What?
Yeah. I mean, it normally gets really thin up there during the summer times.
Sure.
But it melted. The North Pole was wet for a while.
Well, that's
scary.
Scary.
It's gonna be great.
This is
Nothing
sneezing
like
and coffee.
being
I guess
live.
I'm just drunk. No, I guess I'm just grumpy or drunky.
I had to start early with Amazon because they had 4. How many free months of Prime did I end up getting you?
You had many. You had many free months. 4. It was 4.
Yeah.
So if they miss your 2-day shipping on Prime, you are entitled to a free month of Prime. If you didn't know. So
do you have to follow up on it, or do they just give it to you automatically?
they give it to you automatically.
They're supposed to, but I followed up. I was on the chat.
You're right. You're correct. No, sorry. You're right. They're not going to do anything automatically. What am I thinking? Except for apparently book credits when they get sued. Those were automatic. So basically what it did for me, since I already pay for Prime, is it pushed out my renewal date by 4 months, which is awesome. So instead of renewing, I think it was in June, now I'll renew in October or something.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. My holiday season's been mixed. It's been really low key this year. It hasn't felt like Christmas very much, which is the holiday of choice for me. I'm not saying that should be anybody's holiday, but atheists love Christmas. We do. So yeah, it just hasn't been. We've watched one Christmas movie this year.
Which one?
Elf.
Always
Elf. Haven't seen A Christmas Story yet. Erin hates A Christmas Story, so I have to sneak that one.
Yeah.
I love it.
Did you say they were doing A Christmas Story live?
There is a Christmas Story live being done with shit. It's not Bryan Cranston. It's great people though.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Peoples.
And it's going to be live on TV.
Mario Van. On what?
On television.
Oh.
I've never watched one of those live
They're fun.
performances of
They're
something.
fun. So back in the 90s, one of my favorite sitcoms was called Rock, R-O-C, and they would do live shows every once in a while, and they were fantastic. And I think there might have been a live Married with Children once.
Huh.
Rock kind of kicked it off, and it was popular enough to where I think other people did it. And then, of course, 30 Rock did it. Mm-hmm. They do the East and West Coast live show, which are fantastic. And then we're doing it.
Made it sound like it was. They had one episode that was live, which really wasn't.
Yeah. And we're doing it right now because we aren't trendsetters, but boy, are we trend followers. So yeah. Are you doing anything fun this holiday season?
Fun, yes. My sister. I only have one sibling, and my big sister, and we're very close. And she's moving her whole family to Portland, and which is a huge bummer for the rest of the family. But
It's like 3 hours away.
It's far away, though. I don't know.
You're like 9 hours away. I swear to God.
I understand that other people are like, oh, we have family members in long distance places, so it's really not that big a deal. I don't know. It's a big deal to us, because it's not happened before. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it's going to be okay. And they're doing it because sister's husband, my brother-in-law, has gotten a new job and everything. Anyway, the point is they're moving, and this coming Monday, I'm going to be going down with them to help them move into their new house. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be really fun. We're going to go around Portland and see some stuff, and hopefully, I don't really know what's in Portland, other than apparently I've been told strip clubs are really amazing there, but it's not really a family.
Well, according to
Voodoo
Donuts.
Go to Voodoo Donuts.
Don't really go to Blue Star Donuts.
Oh, okay.
Voodoo's a lie. Voodoo is legendary in Tacoma is just as good or better than Voodoo, in my opinion, and they're still not good. It's stale cereal on like donuts that are dry.
I know. I mean, we were there. We were going to go to Voodoo.
Bacon maple's great.
Well, the bacon maple's great because it's bacon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could literally go to QFC and grab a pound of bacon and any of their shitty day old donuts and make an amazing donut.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall Voodoo is overpriced. I will say Pok Pok.
Plus the line to actually get
there.
Terrible.
Yeah. Terrible.
I mean, it doesn't seem like it's good enough to for the line.
I will say that Pok Pok is great if you like anything Thai. Their Thai wings are so good. Their food in Portland's amazing. Mm-hmm. Tons of food. Great malls if you like malls. Like they're actually really cool. Mm-hmm. So Portland's fun place.
Go to the Walk Up Elvis marriage thing.
Walk Up Elvis
chapel
marriage thing.
It's a little chapel. They stay on the inside and you're on the outside, kind of like a bank teller window.
You hitched.
So
Elvis had a really weird accent.
So instead of getting a nice coffee or something, you can drive up and get married.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I like the Bikini Elvis chapel. It's got in a little trouble a few years ago, but it's going to be.
Marriage isn't as good, but it's.
What are you smuggling in that squirrel hammock there, Mr. Viss?
Mr. Viss? Because his first name is L.
L period, yeah. It's blue suede something.
Yeah, Hawk says that Amazon should do floating barges in international waters, open up the Northwest Passage at long last.
The Northwest Passage is open.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they could just sit there. Bezos would do that because he's maniacal. He's not necessarily he's not chaotic evil, but still, when corporations get a lot of power, you know how it go.
Yeah. And
anytime you've got an ethical leader of a corporation, the scariest part is, but who comes next? Bill Gates, amazing. Philanthropist, great human being. Whether or not you like Microsoft, I don't care. As a person, Bill Gates is great. He left to do better things, so that's cool. But then Ballmer took over, who was much more money focused, and now Nadella is in charge. And don't even get me started. Talk about money focused. Talk about just literally figuring out how he can best blow the investors for the next quarter, and then blow everything else for the rest of the career of the company. So, but I'm not bitter.
No.
I bet the investors are.
Speaking of gigantic conglomerations that are, getting together, what do you guys feel about this whole, Disney buying 20th Century Fox, or 21st Century Fox?
It's 20th Century Fox.
It's 20th?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it should be 21st.
Right.
But it's 20th Century Fox. So, overall, I think that as a fan, it's going to mean a lot of great things.
Sure.
As a human, it's not good.
Yeah.
Anytime you centralize that much. So, right now, they're doing the right thing, right? I mean, they're putting nerds in charge of nerd properties. They're bringing in more female leads, more female writers. They're bringing in more diversity. It's all marketable, and like that's what's always surprised me. It's like people bucking against that. It's like, oh, we can only market to white men from 18 to 25. No, it turns out people older than that have more money.
Yeah.
And so it's a smart business move, and it wouldn't be happening if it wasn't a business move. Unfortunately, this isn't about altruism or justness or fairness. It's about money. It's always about money. So the second the money is better somewhere else, all of these properties are now going to feel that pinch. Before, when you've got a bunch of diversified companies, it's harder to sort of steer into new money. When you've got one giant monolithic corporation, every choice you can make steers into money. And I personally feel like we've already seen it with Guardians of the Galaxy and Avengers post one. So all the Avengers movies and stuff. What you're seeing is far more formulaic storylines. Mm-hmm. It's much more formula. Not that comics aren't. I mean, I'm not going to make that argument for sure, but I think for the initial time, it's gonna be you're gonna see a lot of properties get treatment that Fox just shunned. Mm-hmm. I still don't think there should be a Firefly resurgence. Blasphemy. I don't care.
No, at this point, I don't think so either.
Well, especially considering Whedon and fucking Baldwin. Screw him. Jane's gone. I mean, you can't. He's literally threatening people's lives.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's a dick. His character's a dick. So who cares? But the fact of the matter
character was a lovable dick, though.
The fact of the matter is, you can't just resurrect a series where everybody has aged 15 years and just expect it to work. Mm-hmm. So,
I think.
When's Gamers 4 happening again?
I think that
it's just too much in one place.
When I first heard that about Disney buying 20th Century Fox, the first thought was like, oh, interesting. So like the legal battles of the X-Men not being able to be in the Marvel movies could possibly resolve. That was my first thought. But then I thought that as a fan and consumer of movies. Mm-hmm. However, obviously it's a much bigger picture, and I think you're right in a personal situation. It's not Marvel movie based. It's kind of scary.
If they just bought Marvel properties back, that'd be one thing. Mm-hmm. But they bought 20th Century Fox.
Yeah.
So luckily, none of the news are sports. But
oh, really? So
Fox News is Fox News, and I think Fox News Corp is going to be the spin-off company. I shouldn't be covering my mouth. I'm sorry if you can't hear me. But yeah, Fox News Corp I think will be the spin-off company now, which will own Fox News and Fox Sports. But most of the other properties will be owned by Disney. And while that's neat, so like my hope out of all of it is, and I've jokingly said I would sell whatever soul I could find for the original trilogy non-remastered on Blu-ray. That could happen now. That could legitimately happen now because Fox doesn't control the distribution rights to all of the Star Wars anymore. Obviously, there's going to be a 9-disc or 9-movie superset on Blu-ray or 4K or whatever once the films are done. But I really want the original non-adulterated trilogy, the THX remaster. Actually, that's what I want. What went on the Blu-ray, but in 4K. That's what I want. Disney, if you're watching, and I know you are.
They always are.
Because you're owned by Westinghouse.
Okay, got to catch up with some stuff here.
Okay,
we're live. We have people communicating.
Oh, well, let's do it.
So Hawk says that Bill Gates is only better because of his wife.
Maybe.
I do not know.
I don't know that Gates was a total SOB. I just think that he's on the spectrum, and way back in the day, we didn't know what a spectrum was, really.
And we are talking also comparatively between him and Ballmer and Satya Nadella. So, no, Bill Gates is still better.
Yes.
Having worked there a lot. So.
Huck says, we spent a fair amount of time talking about The Lord of the Rings on Amazon at yesterday's Tolkien Society meeting and broadcast. What are your thoughts with so little information about writers, directors, etc.? Little we are told is it will take place the same time as the One Ring role-playing game in the gap between the events of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, shortly after the Battle of Five Armies.
Okay.
Scott, Andy, and Brian, thoughts?
I'm not sure I found a question in there.
It's a new TV
Lord
show
of
that's
the
coming
Rings.
out on Amazon.
Lord of the Rings series is coming out on Amazon.
It's additive. It doesn't take away from anything, so it can only be more stuff. So the way I see it is, yeah, do it. That's great. If it takes away money from a potentially better Lord of the Rings story, whatever, I don't care though, honestly. It's additive. I like having more Lord of the Rings. I like having more Star Wars. I like having more, I like having more of the stuff I like, and I don't think that it ruins anything. Even if it's bad, it doesn't ruin anything
right.
that already exists. And if you let it do that, that's on you.
And something like that would have I'm sure the big question is like, do we incorporate certain characters? Because if it's an in-between time between the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings story, that's it. For instance, like the Shadow of Mordor, the Xbox video game and stuff like that. That takes place between that time.
Well, more than Xbox, but yeah,
right. Sorry, the video game.
Right.
It takes
We
place
should talk about that specific thing in terms of ruining something. By the way, because Shadow.
Okay.
Tell your story.
Anyway, I don't know my story, but that took place during that timeline, or in that time gap, and that was its own sort of thing that had played in the Mordor, or excuse me, the Middle Earth world, and it was enjoyable. It was fun. It was good. It could be his own thing. It didn't have to be necessarily connected to either main storyline stuff. But like if there is a series, that was a video game, but if it's a series, that would be much more needing to involve characters that you can identify with and you can relate to and you can get behind. And I think as a property on television, that would be difficult to do without scooping up characters from either timeline.
Here's why I disagree, and you will have characters from either timeline because there are characters that run through the whole gamut. So you have the option to do that without forcing it, right? It not like making Chewbacca the Prince of Kashyyyk for no reason in the prequels or anything like that. You have reason to do it. There's a lot of characters that are alive during that period. A lot. I mean, a lot. Plus, who doesn't want to see Bombadil finally? So, that being said...
A lot of people.
I want to see Bombadil. I don't care.
Like, F Bombadil.
I just imagine that...
I might be in that camp.
I just imagine Tolkien was like, I want to put on some funky pajamas and put myself in this story. Oh, that's going to be fun. He had that accent. It was weird.
Oh, yeah.
If you hear...
He was English,
too.
Like, I don't know why he had that accent.
You hear recording something, he's like, I want to get me some sausages. That was all he ever said. Again, it's additive, so don't watch it if you don't like where they go with it. No problem, no harm, no foul. I look at Legion as a good example of something where you don't have to bring in anybody that you know. Legion is a Marvel story, right? That was fantastically executed, and didn't bring in anyone else that Fox owned for Marvel. It didn't bring in agents. I mean, it might have in the later series. I haven't seen. I've seen up to a certain point. It's so heavy and takes so long to digest because there's so much going on, and visually it's fantastic. But it didn't need that. Like if you go to like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right? They had to put Coulson in it. They had to bring it. They started bringing in side characters from the films and stuff like that, and that's fine because it's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, and S.H.I.E.L.D. I think Coulson was probably a character that was created almost for that transition.
I don't think he was created for it. I think Coulson, as we know him, was created for it because Coulson was... So, spoiler alert for a movie that's really old now. Whedon absolutely intended... Coulson's dead as far as Whedon is concerned. The Coulson that died in Avengers is Coulson, and he's dead. This other thing is a Cloneson, I guess. Not Coulson. So, I think that specifically the Coulson in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was created. It was created to give Greg Clark. I forget which way it goes. Greg Clark. It was created to give Greg Clark more screen time because he's fantastic. Like, I really do believe that. But I don't think you need necessarily, depending on how it's performed. Shadow of Mordor is a great example to me. because it had so little to do with the canon we knew.
Yeah.
But it did such a good job with its own canon and using the world that canon built.
Yeah.
I thought it was a fantastic story, fantastic game. Shadow of War, that's how you ruin something.
Oh.
Not because of the story. But
Not played it yet.
well, you don't. This isn't plot
Okay.
relevant. This isn't plot relevant. If you want it to be plot relevant, I'm going to need $5, and you have a 23% chance of getting a plot relevant piece. That's what ruined it. See what I did there with the loot boxes? So the whole concept behind locking stuff behind a difficulty or a grind wall, and then forcing people to pay for it to get the story in a game that they paid $60 for, that's what ruined that. It wasn't the story, it wasn't the fact that it was a departure. It's not really a departure from Shadow of Mordor, which is what it's a follow-up to, so that's fine too. But yeah, I think that Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War are great examples of how you can take a story, set it in a world, and not pull in necessarily characters you know, but still tell a compelling story that enriches the world overall. So now watch Lord of the Rings and just imagine that somewhere else in the world those events are unfolding. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think. I'm sorry. One more thing before we move on. I think that kind of property, the Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth kind of thing, does lend itself fairly well to that, because you can have those. You know what dwarves are. You know what elves are. You know what orcs and ents and all these kinds of things. So you don't necessarily need those iconic characters to tell the story. You can just have that's a dwarf, and I know what those are like in this world and stuff. So. Anyway.
Okay, so getting back to the questions that we're falling far, far, far behind because we talked about extra things.
I don't care, Scott.
Yeah.
This live cast was a bonus.
Yeah.
I don't even care if we answer any questions. No offense, guys, but this was a bonus for you.
His complaints don't speak for the rest of us.
The holiday special is about us sitting here talking and recording. So
please
go on.
It is to some people. According to Hawk, Ian McKellen has stated that he wants to keep playing Gandalf. We're going to get off of the Middle Earth and get out into space for a moment, and then we'll come back to Middle Earth. But let's see here. Rival is with you, Andy, and says that Firefly has had his time and that it's over. Hawk says it seems like Whedon has lost interest in furthering the Firefly stuff, doesn't it? But James asks a very good question, germane to what we were talking about with Middle Earth. How would you feel about more Firefly universe stories? Not the old cast,
right,
but going back into the Firefly universe and exploring that.
I actually like that idea a lot. In fact, specifically, what I wanted No Man's Sky to be was to be a procedurally generated verse with a Firefly theme, so that Sino-American Western theme, but stories that are not related to the cast. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in the Firefly universe, right?
Yeah.
You've got people who are in charge of entire planets, mining colonies, stuff like that.
Sure.
There's a lot going on in that universe. I think as a universe, it's underutilized, personally. As long as you're not trying to make everything connect back to this really, really small story about a couple of smugglers in this universe. As long as you don't try to make everything connect back to that, I think you're fine. I think it'd be very interesting, and it's a great universe that hasn't been explored very much.
I suppose. I mean, yeah, it's a great universe and it has potential to tell lots of stories, but I don't know. I think if that were to be on television or wherever, or streaming or something like that, I feel as though, even though I enjoy the universe, all I would really want is to know. I mean, since we're making a show about this, all I really want to have them go back is be back in Serenity. I feel as though,
and that's why you're the problem.
it was great. It was a great dynamic and group and.
So I think that's why a game would be a better place for it, potentially. That being said, there are other. I mean, it's not just the show. There are books. There are comic books. But again, they do focus on
RPGs.
Yeah, they focus mostly on the characters or tangential characters or stuff like that. But yeah, for the most part, I think that, again, it's additive. If for some reason you don't want more, just because it's not more the way you want it,
Don't watch it.
I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, don't watch it.
Well, no, I know. I guess when I make like, how marketable is that?
No, and that's a good point. And it's not because I think a lot of people feel like you do. They want the same.
Yeah.
They like comfort, and Firefly is very much a comfort food sort of show. So yeah, that's how I feel. I would personally love to see more about it, but we're not going to, I don't think. And I definitely don't want to go back to Serenity unless there's an amazingly compelling reason to.
Absolutely.
Okay, trying to combine these things. Hawk says still dream, as do I, of the Silmarillion, starting with Anna. I'm not even going to say it.
Anna Kournikova?
No.
Yes.
Starting at the A's and moving forward. But that's a completely separate license. However, with Christopher Tolkien stepping down at 90 years old, it may happen from the Tolkien estate.
Yeah.
Tree and Leaf series would be good, according to Rob McLennan. I'm not sure about what the Tree and Leaf series is, and he says bring on the Bombadil. And
ooh, man, we're way behind, aren't we?
yes. And to further hone in on what Hawk's question was from our experience standpoint, how do we think that Amazon will do, considering that their track record is somewhat hit and miss on their produced shows?
I do wish Netflix had gotten the license.
Yeah.
Even Hulu. Hulu did an amazing job with, Handmaid's Tale. A lot of their originals have been really good. I didn't care for Man in the High Castle. It was okay. It was neat to see something so many people worked on so diligently. It was okay. The Tick, 50-50 on that. It got better for sure. And
there's more?
Well, there's the first half of the first season is up.
Oh, okay.
So more than just the pilot.
That's right.
And then I think 6 episodes, and I think next month maybe the next 6 comes.
More.
Yeah, but it was the first half of the first season. I will say the Terror is the best he's ever been, better than even the comics. In the Tick, James Earl Healy, I think is that the guy's name from Watchmen.
From Watchmen.
Yeah, and
Rorschach.
Also from an episode of Get a Life, he played Chris's cousin.
Oh, and Preacher.
Preacher, yeah.
Oh my God.
The guy who owned the town, basically.
Oh, good in Preacher. If you haven't watched Preacher, go watch Preacher.
Yeah, I hated Preacher at first. Don't go in expecting the comic at all. They've completely gone a different way with Jesse. Jesse is not comic book Jesse. Cassidy is comic book Cassidy, for sure. Petunia isn't comic book Petunia. Most of the characters are very different, but fit the medium much better. So
if you have not seen or read the comic book,
definitely watch it.
Then it's just straight up
awesome. After the first episode. The first episode's a little rough, I think. I personally think.
Yeah.
The first episode.
It sets if you can get through that,
sets a tone.
Then it pays off for the rest of the.
I won't say more than this, but the angel fight is one of the best film TV sequences ever done.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I mean that's I wish them the best. They might, because of the fan base here, it might produce something a little better than Amazon is keen to do. They have a mostly missed track record in my opinion, but that's
who are we talking about now?
Amazon
yeah.
as a producer, as a film producer.
I'm just glad it's not MTV or VH1 or whoever got sort of the Terry Brooks. Oh, the CW could have done better. Yeah, the Shannara.
Was that not very
good?
The
Shania Chronicles?
I tried to get through it and set it down for a while and tried to come back, and it's just like
without watching it, it seemed like they were trying to make something for tweens in a dorky setting.
Yeah. I have a lot of
set it in Seattle and not shoot it here. For your question on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. setting, I don't know enough about the universe, and we have a post here, so Andy and Brian can deal with that at a later time. Thank you for posting that, Hawk.
Cool.
What am I doing for the rest of my birthday? Well, I'm watching the Seahawks game, and then I have to go and be stage manager for a show. And then I'm going to sleep because I'm going on about 3 hours of sleep right now.
So, is it Scott's birthday today?
It is my birthday today. It is my actual
Happy birthday, Scott.
birthday today.
Sorry, it's not your own birthday. A very merry birthday to you. Not you, but you.
That would have been great if it was known a bit better to me.
Rob says, Casey Lee says, Firefly-based series. Now, that's a great idea. Also, thank you very much, Ginger. Let me make sure I got that right. Because I hate it when I call people the wrong names.
Is that Tiff?
No. Ginger, Casey Lee's friend, who's watching this. We have expanded the Bard universe by one Ginger.
Ooh, that's all you need.
Pretty much. And Rival says Shadow of Mordor is a better assassin game than Assassin's Creed, which, at its best, is a pirate game. True. Loot Crate did a Firefly fan film, apparently.
Huh, interesting.
Wow.
Company.
Really?
And yes, Firefly Universe has the older Cortex Series 1 Serenity RPG, which I have played. Serenity 2 I haven't played. I have the board game right up there.
Did you do any of the Mandarin?
Jamie Chambers? Or no,
No.
Who did? No, okay.
That's not Margaret Weiss or Jamie. That was another big company. Oh yeah, we've seen Preacher a long time ago. Bad News Bear. Right! He was in Bad News Bears.
Who was? The Preacher?
No. The three...
Terror?
Terror.
Oh!
Rorschach.
Okay.
He was in Bad News Bears. That's
I think
right.
it's James Earl Healy. Something like that.
Sounds good to me.
It's definitely Healy at the end. Because you escape on your Healy, or use my Heelys to escape my Feelies. So that's fine.
Sure.
Yeah.
And yes, we probably we may have talked about Preacher a bit on the podcast, but you're right, Hawk. When you had brought it up, we hadn't seen it yet. Okay. Goodbye, James. Have a very Merry Christmas. Thank you for hanging with us.
Merry Christmas.
Sorry we started late. Happy birthday, Scobro. What you gonna do? As I said, watch a football game and sleep and do the thing. Hawk just lost the stream. Rob lost the stream.
Don't know
Must
what to
have been
say,
a Comcast hiccup. And I did get Ginger's name right.
Good.
There's
Excellent.
confirmation. Not only could I read it now, but yes.
Are we all caught up?
We are all caught up on the current streaming.
Because
we
the
still
stream died.
still have the Bardic question of the week and the questions.
Cool.
But right now, if anyone can confirm the stream is still up and running, that would be great. Otherwise, we're just going to keep talking.
Yep.
Sound good. So let's see. Holiday episode again. This might have been brought up before in past, holiday episodes. But there any traditions and stuff that you guys do for the holidays?
So that was brought up in a previous podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind then.
Well, no, it's fine. We can talk about it. For the most part, tradition-wise,
I think you said you do Star Wars, right?
So I try to watch the original trilogy starting Christmas morning through the evening because it takes a while. Which is weird because my Thanksgiving tradition is Indiana Jones.
Sure.
So I don't know why that is. That's weird.
Right, trilogies.
Yeah, well, it's not just trilogies. It's like those two specific ones.
It's Harrison Ford.
Yeah, it is Harrison Ford. Yeah.
And Lucas.
I might give it a miss this year. I don't know, but I probably won't. I'll probably try to watch it again. Yeah, that's Thanksgiving. So the way it works for me, Thanksgiving morning. I know I'm talking about Thanksgiving now, but I don't care. So Thanksgiving morning, I wake up. Not this year because my new dietary restrictions, but I wake up and Erin likes to make these little croissant things with cream cheese and bacon in them, and they're fantastic. They're like little discs. Really good. It's super easy. You roll out croissant dough, you spread on cream cheese, bacon, and then onions if you like them. She doesn't, so you can dice them up and caramelize them and stuff. Roll it up, cut it into discs, bake that. That's it. They're delicious, salty, bacony.
Wow.
It's fantastic. Eat those. watch whatever 6 episodes of Mystery Science Theater come on. And then as soon as those are over, you start Indiana Jones. That'll take you to like 2 in the morning practically. Fun stuff if you don't have dinner plans. If you do have dinner plans or you're not doing it at your house, it's kind of, you got to pick between Turkey Day and Indy, but or pick an Indy, which is almost always going to be Last Crusade for me. Though I like Raiders more, I think.
Andy picks Indy.
I pick Indy. No, I usually pick MST3K. Puma man, dude, come on. So Turkey Day has been a tradition since I was in high school, or since maybe even a little before I was in high school. I love Turkey Day. That being the MST3K marathon that they did on the, at the time, Comedy Channel. It wasn't even Comedy Central yet.
Yeah.
So, fun stuff though. I, of course, didn't live in Minnesota, so I didn't get to the public broadcast of the original series or anything. I started, though I watched, I think, the premiere episode on the Comedy Channel, like, back in the day, so that was really cool. So I've been with it as long as I could have feasibly been with it, not having lived in Minnesota. I love that show. Even the new one is great.
Yeah, new one I like a lot. I really...
Harmar Superstar's in it. That wigs me out.
Harmar Superstar?
He's the band leader, the skeleton band leader.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. So, I don't know why.
Is that a kickback from the classic?
No. It's he's a guy who sings and stuff, and he's been in a couple of movies, usually like as a wrestler or something. But he has a song like HARMAR Superstar, and it's just
so he sings about himself.
He does. It's fantastic.
Oh, wow.
He's bizarre, super bizarre star. So, yeah, I like the new series too. I totally recommend it.
Fair enough.
So that's my tradition. What's yours, Scott?
Eat.
Yeah,
don't really have traditions. I mean, it was more the timing thing of, get up, then you do the stockings, then you have to wait, then you have to do the breakfast, then you have to wait, then you have to open the gifts. But now...
then you don't have batteries, then you have to wait.
Yeah.
Shit.
My mom's best friend, Arlene, used to be the Christmas Eve party. But then people would be leaving to go somewhere else for Christmas Day. And so it would minimize. And where I grew up in Salem, most of the friends and everybody are within a day easy drive. But when it's Christmas Eve, if you're not local to Salem, if you're not coming into Salem for that, it's inconvenient. So now it's the Christmas Eve party. So
it's the Trace Buster.
Yes. So on the 23rd, we have the big gathering. So then on the 24th, anybody that needs to get out of Dodge can do that. And so I missed that last year being in the UK. So got my invite this year, and Arlene is tickled to have me coming. So that will be good. That's kind of all. How about yourself? Any traditions?
Oh, I have a feeling I probably ran through it last time I asked this question, because I think Andy's right. I have asked this question before, but yeah, it's a gauntlet. It's a Christmas gauntlet. Like, we don't actually have Christmas at our house. We have Christmas everywhere else, and so we have to it starts on the 23rd, and we go here, and then we have to spend the night there, and then leave to another thing, and then we have about 4 things, and then. We're frequently invited to, we're having a Christmas, like on Christmas evening, a party over at this, and it's fondue, and I really enjoy going to that party. I have since I was a kid. It's been going on every year, but by the time we're done, it's just, it's no more.
You have to take
sorry, my dad's calling to wish me a happy birthday.
All right. Come on, Scott. Here we go. So you just made me think of
Hi, Dad.
of a fantastic
Thank you very much.
thought.
Yes.
The infirmary gauntlet.
We're recording our...
Where you're infirm, so it's like Dennis gets really
video
old. And you get like the kidney stone and different gallstones.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't think kidney stones
that's fine.
are around here. I think those are liver spots that you're thinking of.
Vitiligo, which is my favorite Hitchcock film.
What is your favorite Hitchcock film?
Rope. Not truly a one-take film, but a series of single 10-minute takes. That's pretty cool. Like that's neat. So Rob McLennan asks, is it really the time of year for swearing? Because I said ajit pie. Yes, it's always the time of year to get riled up about taking away your rights and calling it freedom, because everyone here is a multinational corporation that benefits entirely from being able to meter their internet connection.
Well, companies are people, so
Yeah.
watch Andy's head explode.
Yeah. I'm not going to be as Scotty on the spot with these questions, but keep them coming. We're also
Well, at least you're not going to, take a phone call. No, it's his dad. He told
it's
me
his
it's a pass.
dad.
Yeah,
He gets a pass. It's his birthday.
Absolutely.
Seriously though, as soon as the thing shut off, I'm beating the shit out of him. But no, it's his dad. It's fine. Scott.
It's Scott.
Not
This
like
is
we planned it.
By the way, this is you might notice some new digs.
Oh yes.
The first one we did 2 years ago was at Scott's place. That's one we did with Brophy.
Yes.
And last year
we did it at my place.
That's right.
With Scott on a tablet,
Just right around here.
which we're actually shooting under that bar right now.
But this is we're recording here in
Yep.
Scott's new place
Yep.
in Seattle area,
Yes.
and we're very
The
excited
address
to
is.
have
No,
them.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah,
I hope it doesn't auto tag it. It might. You can come to Scott's house. He doesn't care. We're not famous
He
enough
might.
to care yet.
Yeah, right. We're just gonna dox Scott while he's away.
Yeah. 87095
Those are
Rainier
not right.
Avenue South. That's not a real address. That's if that's a real address, that's almost in Oregon. 87095.
No idea.
Yeah, that would be
Like-
really far south.
I have conversation. I mean, like I'm a mappy person. I'm pretty good with maps and knowing where I am and all that kind of stuff. But I was having a conversation with my cousin because we just had a Christmas party, and he's like a driver, and
Yep.
he was just trying to tell me, like, do you know where 5th meets Meeker or Maine meets 34th? I live in the town that he's talking about. I'm still like I mean, like addresses and zip codes and stuff like that. I just kind of file that away from in a compartment in my brain where I don't really have to access it, and so I kind of forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's in Oregon or not.
It would. It's just very far south.
Sure.
It'd just be very far south because the number is big.
Mm.
So, the Seattle is difficult to navigate until you understand the tricks. I think the tricks make it much easier, like knowing which way avenues run versus streets. So then you know that, or then you can figure out kind of what you need to be parallel to or perpendicular to. Knowing where northwest and north and southwest and all that stuff kind of start.
Oh yeah, and then when you figure that stuff out, like I had a moment like that where you cross the threshold, and you're like, oh, this is how you get. I was driving for pizza and stuff like that, and that's an exciting thing. But I still haven't done that for Seattle. It's really not as grid-like as a lot of other cities, like say for Tacoma,
right,
is much more like
it can't be geographically because of, well, I mean, first of all, the whole way the Seattle was created, like Denny Hill is fake. It was non-existent. They made that.
They made Denny Hill?
Yeah, they made Denny Hill. You should go look at it in the early 1900s. It's just like piles of dirt. It's weird.
Yeah, let me just go, in my time machine and take a look then. An old Denny Hill.
They have these things, dude. I don't mean to, but it's
what do they have?
They're called pictures.
Pictures.
Photographs.
Okay. Where can I find these pictures?
You probably have to get a time machine and go back and
I see.
because
Right.
I don't think they sell them anymore.
That's a shame.
I don't know if we had some kind of giant like electronic storage system that anyone
that'd be
could
great.
easily access.
And everybody can actually access.
Oh wait, we did a few weeks ago. Now I'm back to the anger. Yeah. Oh,
where's
buddy.
our gigantic coffee mug?
Reese's Feces, that guy. Commission's limited summers. Okay, I'm trying to find.
Ooh, are we going to be singing Christmas carols this time around, or doing tongue twisters?
We've been well. We don't have any tongue twisters ready. Scott was supposed to ask you if Tiff had any for us.
Oh, he did not do that.
That's fine. He's talking to his dad. It's good. we do have one song request for Baby It's Cold Outside by Scott and I, but you could probably join in on that, or it could be you and Scott. I don't care either way.
Fair enough.
And then we could, of course, pick another Christmas carol and just sing it.
Tiff and I, she looked up the lyrics to Baby It's Cold Outside, and even though I do not really like that song, the tune is nice or whatever, but like I just don't,
Did you hear our comment on that specific issue?
I'm sure it's similar to my own. What was it?
It's actually not. Baby It's Cold Outside, in the context of the time it was written, is a negotiation of consent. So certain things that sound really gross were actually social code back then. And
social code.
People would have completely understood what it meant. What's in this drink is how, for example, is how women excused behavior they felt might be perceived as unladylike. It wasn't about being roofied at all. So stuff like that. The whole thing is actually a giant negotiation of consent, which is kind of interesting.
It is kind of interesting.
When Ricardo Montalban sings it, though, it becomes a little creepier. I don't know. I love him as Mr. Rourke. I love him as everything, actually. I think Ricardo Montalban is fantastic. But Khan kind of ruined him for me. It's all additive. It's just more Montalban. So, yeah, it's... I don't mind singing it, aside from the fact that I can't sing. Other than that, I mean, do you want to sing Baby It's Cold Outside?
I can.
That's gonna. I think that's gonna be random. And we don't know the lyrics, so we would have to do
request. Yeah, we'll have to pull it up. Logo looks great, Hawk.
Yeah, I like the logo. Not a huge fan of the gradient, but I see why you like it. So yeah, definitely leave it. Overall, though, it's much cleaner than it started out. So I really like it.
Yeah, and yes, 21st, 22nd, probably around. I need to check my rehearsal schedule, but I'm sure something could be made out.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to be on Orcas Island. Because I think that goes the 18th to the 22nd.
Oh, right.
So I will not be there.
And I may be on Orcas Island as well.
Are we? We're obviously asking for questions and stuff from the people who are listening right now. Have we asked them any questions about their experiences? Maybe, perhaps, favorite traditions, favorite
we totally
songs and stuff.
Someone doesn't listen to the podcast. That's
No.
fine. That's fine.
His wife does, but he certainly doesn't.
Yep, indeed. So yes, that question's been asked.
It's been a busy year.
It's been a busy
year. Buzz.
Shall we try this shit?
Sure.
All right. You want me to take the female part?
Sure.
All right. You've got a deeper voice, is what I'm getting at. Right.
Yeah. All right.
I hate you so much for this. This is Casey, right?
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. Ginger, punch him for us.
I really can't stay.
But baby, it's cold outside.
I've got to go away.
But baby, it's cold outside.
This evening has been
hoping that you'd drop in.
so very nice.
I'll hold your hands, they're just like ice.
My mother will start to worry.
Beautiful, what's your
My
hurry?
father will be pacing the floor.
Listen to the fireplace roar.
So really I'd better scurry.
Beautiful, please don't
Well,
hurry.
maybe just a half a drink more.
Put some records on while I pour.
The neighbors might think.
Baby, it's bad out there.
Say, what's in this drink?
No carbs. No, sorry. No cabs to be had out there.
I wish I knew how.
Your eyes are like starlight
to
now.
break this spell.
I'll take your hat. Jeez, your hair
to
looks
hell.
I
well.
ought to say no, sir.
Mind if I move closer?
At least I'm gonna say that I tried.
What's the sense in hurting my pride?
I really can't stay.
Oh, baby, don't hold out.
But baby, it's cold
Outside.
I tried to go up. I can't. I simply must go.
But baby, it's cold outside.
The answer is no.
But baby, it's cold outside.
Your welcome has been
How lucky for you. the
so
moon dropped
nice
in.
and warm.
But look how the window is this dawn.
My sister will be suspicious.
Gosh, your lips look delicious.
My brother will be there at the door.
Waves upon the tropical shore.
My maiden's aunt's mind is vicious.
Gosh, your lips are
Well,
delicious.
maybe just a cigarette more.
Never such a blizzard before.
Gotta get home.
Baby, it's cold. You'll freeze out there.
Say, lend me a coat.
It's up to your knees out there.
You've been really grand.
I thrill when you touch
but
my hand.
don't you see?
How can you do this thing to me?
There's bound to be talk tomorrow.
Think of my lifelong.
At least there'll be plenty implied.
If you got pneumonia and died.
I really can't stay.
Get over that old.
Baby, it's cold outside. Baby, it's cold outside.
There we go.
Ooh.
Oh, that was garbage.
I think some of those
That
notes
was
are
hot
probably...
garbage. That was, yeah.
Existing on a scale somewhere.
Some of
in
those
a
notes
key.
were probably of that song. You know?
Oh,
That's cool.
maybe. I don't think so.
Baby, we need a accompaniment.
Baby, we need vocal training.
That's probably.
Ah, we need vocal training. Yeah, we should have done it in character.
I know that we did this one time.
Jimmy Durante. Baby, it's bad out there.
We could do this in the round.
Ooh,
Or we'll go.
Okay.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, I'm going to need to use yours.
Good King Wenceslas looked out on the feast of Stephen, when the snow lay round about, deep and crisp and even. Brightly shone the moon that night, though the frost was cruel, when a poor man came in sight, gathering winter fuel. Hitler page,
Hitler page, and stand by me, if thou knowest it telling. Yonder peasant, who is he, where and what his dwelling?
Sire, he lives a goodly guest underneath the mountain, right against the forest fence, by St. Agnes fountain. Bring me flesh and bring me wine, bring me pine logs hither. Thou and I will see him dine when we bear him hither. Page and monarch, forth they went together, through the rude wind's wild lament and the bitter weather. Only two more. Sire, the night is darker now, and the wind blows stronger. Fills my heart, I know not how, I can go no longer. Mark my footsteps, my good page, tread out in them boldly. Thou shalt find the winter's rage, freeze thy blast us coldly.
I can't, he keeps moving his
Sorry.
In
his master's steps he trod, where the snow lay dinted. He was in the very sod which the saint had printed. Therefore, Christian men, be sure, wealth or rank possessing, ye who now will bless the poor, shall yourselves find blessing.
It's weird because I wish I didn't have it memorized. Because I have it memorized slightly off of those lyrics.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are they different lyrics than the ones you memorized?
Well, they're just slight changes.
Right.
It shows up different in a bunch of different places.
Yeah.
Here's
Kinda
some
Shakespeare.
here's a sad little recap of Mr. Good King Wenceslas.
Ooh, history
Good King
corner.
Wenceslas was a Catholic and was martyred following his assassination by his brother Boleslaw and his supporters. His saint's day is September 28th. Remember that, folks. And he is the patron saint of the Czech Republic. St. Stephen's feast day was celebrated on the 26th of December, which is why this song is sung as a Christmas carol. The more you know.
So those of you who are telling us we peaked, sorry. Those of you telling us we should do it live, we can't. We're all here. This is literally everybody in this room. We don't have people to do this. If you want to volunteer to help us out next time we do a Christmas special, you're more than welcome to. But we, like I said, we just don't have the ability to do that. So we might have screwed up that audio, and we might have to cut it out of the final.
Oh, because it sounded terrible when we were singing?
Yeah. Originally, we were going to have 2 microphones, but I couldn't find the second one. And we were going to pot that one way down. So, oh well.
Audio term.
Potentiometer makes things quieter or louder depending on how much resistance it gives. Potentially.
That's another one of those things that I find very interesting and file immediately away, and this I don't really need to care about.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy.
No.
Really glad to have you editing with me today.
No. It's
I don't care about it.
Well, it's my own fault, not yours.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying it's boring. It's actually very useful information that I should know, but then choose not to remember. Hey, Scott.
Hey.
It's like your birthday.
Like my birthday.
For me, yeah.
Like,
I just don't care. No, Facebook, unfortunately, I've lost that part of my brain that can remember birthdays.
Yeah.
Because Facebook does it for me.
Right.
And I've just...
What about people's numbers?
Some I remember, some I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have a guest?
We do.
Oh, we have a gust, too. Chilly out there.
Mm.
So,
Bird.
come on in and sit by the Brian's feet.
By the feetsies?
We even have a hat for you, but you have a hat.
I'll have to walk in front of the camera.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's okay.
Just limbo under the... Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
That'll be the only unprofessional thing.
And
in
careful,
this
there's a
entire
drink by your
podcast.
feet.
Oh, it's an
Oh,
empty
it is.
drink.
Oh, okay. And there's your hat. Unless you want your hat that you've got.
I want this one. Oh, that's a sock.
That's a sock.
That's a sock. You could wear a sock as a hat, I suppose.
So, Andy,
Yes.
who is this new guest?
Who is this new guest? Why, this is Erin Weatherbums. This is Erin Weathers.
Yay!
Hi, Erin Weathers.
Yay.
The weather's inside's delightful.
Delightful.
I didn't think this through very well.
No more layers here.
That I know. I don't
On
know.
the show, on the show, on the show.
Oh, that old chestnut.
I like that your
Yeah.
table's held up by one of those things on the beach at Normandy. Like, that's really cool.
I thought it looked like a star from Zelda.
It's an
Breath of the
asteroid.
Wild.
Oh, yeah, it's a star
If you
fragment.
just paint it gold, then
Yeah.
nerds will steal it.
Yeah. I just like that it's an asterisk. As in, like,
A
is that a
three-dimensional
table?
asterisk.
Well, kind of.
It's a table with something that you need to read down in the file.
Yeah, exactly. It's a table, but it got here on steroids. So that's a sports joke, I think.
It is.
So how are you doing, Miss Glitterface?
I'm just driving around all day
All day,
like this.
like
Just
even,
doing that?
like
Yeah.
even still.
That's how I milk cows.
Yeah.
I like your Christmas shirt.
It
I
would
was
be
doing
better
that
with-
at the same time.
Boop, boop.
If you were,
You got to jug headed a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's one. Your
So
your
they
one
can-
bell is tucked
I know,
behind.
because it was right by my ear.
Oh,
I couldn't hear.
what?
We'll just stick it in the back.
Okay.
Fair enough. Has Erin ever been on Two Bards before?
Yes,
I have
she
once.
has.
Once.
It
And
was
she-
near Halloween.
And
We
she
were talking
swore-
about
Yeah.
Halloween costumes.
Oh.
She swore never again, yet here she is.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Liar.
Yep.
Yep. Totally.
That's me. Can't trust a word I say.
It's true. It's true. So should we get to some questions? Or
Yeah, I thought we'd start off with really quickly going through the Bardic question of the week.
Okay, and we
Right.
have 2 people who haven't answered it here, so we can actually get answers from them.
Yes. So the Bardic question
Test.
of the week is first Bardcast length. A, is it just about right as it is? 2 hours plus is fine, whatever it ends up being. B, please divide into parts, no longer than 60 minutes each, but continue doing what you're doing. And C, never make it more than 60-ish minutes. Also, what is your preferred listening format, stereo or mono? So, James says, I vote A all the way. I'm happy to have as much Bardic glory coming to me as possible. I listen to it on my commute to work, mostly, and sometimes continue in work with what I have, with all that I have is spreadsheet work that doesn't require much thinking.
I also want to continue bringing Bardic joy to your Bardic glory holes.
As for listening format, I think I listen primarily in stereo, but sometimes on my mono Bluetooth headset that combines both channels.
Ooh, putting the onus on the person. I like that.
Rival says, I like the 2-hour shows, but don't feel pressured to commit to that. If you don't have time or the content to do 2-hour show each week, our shows are just fine too.
If we don't have the content.
I listen instead. We don't have enough oxygen in the room to continue for 2 hours. He also listens in stereo. Rob McLennan says, whatever length of the show organically runs to is fine for me. If that's 2 hours, great. If it's 1 hour because you have to rush off to get things done, that's okay too. Mono or stereo is immaterial to me, as the methods I use to listen at work are just to plug it right in. Listen to work works well in either way.
Cool.
Anamarth is Adam Mori. Bardic question, answer. I'm happy with the length as it is. Stereo is fine to me in most instances.
Well, that's the first time I've ever heard that.
I do most of my listening at work where I can only listen in one ear. Most of the time I can hear both Andy and Scott, though one is louder because that's the side they're on. But there have been some episodes that I've come back to when I wasn't at work because listening in one ear meant only hearing half the conversation. Linkmaster General. Glad that he is finally on the Discord because
Mr. Davis.
He's talking to us again. I'm more likely to be timely and thorough with the links in the episode if the episode is shorter. Yeah, we know.
We know.
We're sorry. But I'm not sure how critical my notes are anyway. I don't see much advantage to stereo. The only time stereo has been a problem has been when I'm listening with one pod while at work.
Mm-hmm.
Hawk says he's found stereo helpful when there are special guests and sometimes their voices are similar. The separation has helped to keep track. Other than that, I'm not much in need. I used to do stereo separation for Middle Earth Talk Show for years, but people asked for mono. And when I did, nobody asked for stereo to come back. Casey Lee...
That's kind of how I see it.
Answers A and B. So it's just right as it is, and please cut it into parts. Good, strong, solid, firm commitment on that answer.
Is the B in relation to the mono?
Oh, B could be the mono.
B is mono. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, okay. So he listens in mono. And as a bonus question or answer...
He just wants to put in both answers, just like a test or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, one of these are bound to
I
be
have a
right.
Christmas track mark.
I
Just kidding, it's a bite.
had thought about that. I should have gone A, B, C, and then D and E, but I thought that would be more confusing. So,
Nah,
Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 for point and click games.
Nice. I like Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate, again, I keep espousing this site, but it is a great site. GOG.com. GOG.com. Good old games. First of all, do you know what you can find there, guys?
I sure don't.
All of our movies.
What?
What? Movies.
Really?
Yeah, they're all there. They're like the top rated, too.
On what now?
So, GOG.com.
GOG.com.
Yeah. So Good Old Games is where it originally started, but they do gaming movies. So it's like Us. I think that Angry Video Game Nerds movies on there. A bunch of documentaries about gaming, stuff like that. But additionally, you can get new versions of old games that run on new hardware. So, like, all of the LucasArts adventures are up there. All of the old Sierra, or some of the old Sierra Quest games, Descent 1 and 2.
The Incredible Machine.
The Incredible Machine. I think Jones in the Fast Lane was up there.
Crystal
Caves was up there. Yeah, I mean, like,
Those are my
old
favorite.
games. I think some of the old
And then
TSR.
these you download and play on your
And they're-
PC.
they're
They're
all-
not like Steam.
Correct. They're all
Okay.
DRM free. Well, Steam you still have to download, but you have to be authenticated. These are just Cuphead is on there. If you want a DRM free version of Cuphead, it's $20. They have sales all the time. So GOG.com.
I just picked up a free one.
Grim Fandango. I'm
Yes,
guessing,
Grim Fandango.
which is another Lucasfilm adventure game with Manny Calavera, the skeleton who is trying to solve a mystery during the Day of the Dead. Pretty cool stuff.
Looked very cool.
Yeah, GOG's awesome.
Douglas Michael says, once it tops about 90 minutes, I find it difficult to schedule the time for listening to the entire podcast. Since after a certain point, the time counter always disappears. I have to hunt and pack through the recording to find out where I was. Mono would make it easier to hear the podcast and also to be able to hear the family members /phones /pets /etc.
So one thing I would like to ask people who answered that they'd like it differently than it's currently set up is to please let us know how you consume the podcast. Because our hands are tied in a few ways. If we create a secondary podcast, that's going to split views and it's going to cause us a bunch of problems. But we can make a custom RSS feed that directly goes to mono, for example, or directly goes to episodic, where we cut it into, chunks. But you'd have to add that to your podcast player yourself. The webpage already has everything except for cut up on it. So I understand losing the player time. That's the JavaScript that we use is far from perfect, but it's pretty good. It's free and it's far from perfect, but we could add sectionals or a section. There's a big change coming up that will actually probably help with that.
What? Big change?
Big change.
What?
Big change.
What's happening?
We got bought by Disney. Yeah.
We have funding.
No, we just got bought.
Lies.
We're going to be fired in 18 months because legally they have to hold on to us for that long.
No, that's EA Games.
Oh, right. No, that's after you actually do a good job for them and they fire you.
Oh, sad story.
Yeah.
I have a...
Runic was a heartbreak this year. It was such a heartbreak to see that place shutter. I mean, we love Wonder, for one, obviously. But just the games Runic produced. Torchlight 2, Hob. These are fantastic games. To shutter them specifically because that's what you do as a big company to make your shareholders happy.
You're talking about the company that Wonder Russell
Correct.
works for. Yeah. Wonder Russell, of course, being
Daggy.
lots of stuff, but she's also in Daggy and Journey Quest 3.
She's not in Daggy, she is Daggy.
She is Daggy and Journey Quest 3.
Christian was almost in Daggy.
Okay. So, yeah, but that's who you were talking about, sorry.
Yeah.
I have a not necessarily an opinion exactly, but I'd like to answer this question.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, that's...
Obviously, you don't listen to it, so your answer is very valuable to us.
Well, actually, one of the reasons why I don't listen to it is actually wrapped up in this is because I for one I'm really happy that a lot of your really super fans are like the length that it currently is and like the way it goes, and it's totally cool. And I don't think you should necessarily change that, especially because your larger amount of followers really enjoy it. For me personally, as a podcast consumer, I prefer something that is around 60 minutes. It's more digestible for me, and that's just the format that I'm more used to in podcasts and which I prefer. I'm not saying that you should change to form what I personally prefer in a podcast, because if it's working for you, then obviously it's working for you. But for my personal tastes, when I listen to a podcast, I prefer it to be more 60 minutes. That's just my own opinion.
Mono or stereo?
Mono or stereo, I prefer mono, but I like that yours is in stereo because I feel like it's the only one that I listen to that is. And I have a similar situation where, say for instance, on earbuds, maybe one of them breaks and only one of them works, and so that's annoying. But that's such a rare problem.
But can't you just listen to Andy and then take it and then listen?
Yeah, that's how that works. That's exactly how that works.
Yes. And you just do this for 2 hours?
How do you...
Sure.
Right.
Oh, and he's going into a diatribe. Okay, he's done. Okay.
So you're saying listen to mono and do that to get the experience? Yeah. So how do you consume the podcast? What do you use? Do you use iTunes?
I use the podcast app thing that goes on an iPhone.
That's
So iTunes.
iTunes is where that's served from. So cool.
Okay. Yeah.
I believe on that you can use a custom RSS, so we could still do the RSS and give you kind of what you want.
2 Bards mono, 2 Bards.
I mean,
shorty.
Maybe others are that picky where that would be a good thing. To me, that's completely unnecessary.
Well, but if we cut it down to 60-minute chunks though, and you had to use the special RSS to do it, I think it would it benefit you in that case? Where you could be like, oh, cool, I'll pick the 60-minute one where basically a 2-hour episode becomes 2 episodes, and then I can choose when to listen.
I think personally, again, not saying this is what you should do, but personally, I'd prefer you to just keep the shows as they are, as opposed to breaking them into 60 minutes chunks and then like this is 157A and this is 157B.
Okay.
I think it's not worth it to me to break them up that way. I don't want the 60-minute chunk that bad. Just 1 2-hour thing. But again, just my opinion.
How would you feel about us doing our halves of the podcast separately, and then
you just have to just have a really
basically
good
on audio green screen. So we're working alone on audio green screen, but I don't think that's not how that works.
No,
it's not. It's a little. It's not.
Hawk has immediately answered your question. How do I consume the podcast? I download to a laptop or a phone. So you go to our website and download.
Right click save as.
Great, because we have that on. Wait for it. But we've been doing some coding late into the day yesterday.
Not really that late.
Well, we did
5
a lot
o'clock
of coding.
was pretty. It gets dark early, okay?
So hopefully with some time for January 1, there'll be some new Bardic happenings. And that way, by downloading it and taking control of the file, he can start it and stop it whenever he wants by using his player. Erin,
I have
do
a
you
lot of suggestions.
bother
for your
listening
podcast.
to us?
I have a list.
Do you? Okay.
I keep
There
it on my
should
person.
be more kittens.
That will
Tobin
never
should
happen.
Be a special guest.
Tobin has been a
Every
special
month.
guest. That's not fun.
Andy should be on it less because I already hear all his working on puns.
That's actually a good point. Yeah, you guys get the benefit.
So you guys all get the good stuff. I get to hear all the in practice,
Sure.
the
The
bad
unpolished
ones,
stuff.
The unpolished stuff.
Yeah.
I get the diatribes firsthand.
She does a lot of punch up for Andy on his
She
puns.
does.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's my pun polisher.
Yeah.
So
And if you could do more nail art tutorials, that would be good for me.
your nails look amazing, by the way. Let's take a
Thank
moment
you.
to.
Oh, we are a visual medium
We are
right
visual.
now.
Look at them.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can even see it.
I'll
but
punch
it's
it.
probably
When
sparkly.
you twinkle like that. Yeah.
I watch a lot of nail art tutorials.
I do watch the waveform when we record the podcast, and I do talk way too much.
Okay, so
comparatively.
this is my criteria for listening to the podcast. When you guys were recording it at our house, I would be in the living room trying to keep Tobin quiet by playing with him, and then if I hear my name, then I run to the door and I put my ear to the door. I go, "What are they saying? Are they talking about me?" And then I'll
This suddenly
listen.
pertains to me.
And then I'll listen to that part of the podcast
Cool.
the next day.
Ooh.
I have a question for the group. What do you want for your gift-giving holiday of choice this year?
Ooh.
Yes. What would you like? What would you like for Christmas, little boy?
Well, Santa.
Take your arm off me, you fat old man.
I want my innocence.
I'm hoping now that I have an Android device that I could get an Android wearable device.
Oh,
Wearable?
Wearable.
What's that?
A fossil.
Yeah, like a hat?
Yeah. A fossil smartphone.
Ooh. Wow.
Smartwatch. A fossil smartphone would be weird. It'd be so big. Hello. Like leather hanging off of it.
Do you guys remember the watch rings?
Kind of.
They should make smart watch rings.
Oh.
You mean like the watch rings you could get for like 50 cents?
At the
and-
little
and-
coin
yeah.
thing, yeah. And it would always like pinch your flesh and
Right.
hurt real bad.
And
Yeah.
like immediately wants to take it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They should have that.
They should invest
But
in
more
that.
annoying.
Can that peak?
I bet that peaked. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh.
It's okay. When that stuff happens, the peak is actually kind of adorable. It's the singing is gonna sound terrible. That's fine.
We'll see what we can do.
We'll see what we can do.
How about
Go ahead.
yourself? What do you want? You're next in line.
Oh, what do I want? I'm always terrible at this question. Whenever anyone asks me it, I think probably maybe I don't have gamer headphones, cans. You know, I don't have those with the cool microphone thing. I had them, but they were for the Xbox a way ago, and I don't have it for this one. And so I'd like to be gaming more, and so that's a cool thing to do with friends if you can communicate. Because if you can't, it's not as fun to play with friends because you have you're both on the screen. You can see that person, but you can't really like they're trying to go over here. Like let's go over here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this? Oh.
No. So are you looking at like the Turtle Beach ones, or do you care? You just want it?
I don't really care.
I will tell you a trick, and I think I told you the trick, but I'll tell you the trick again. You can use a wired headset in your controller.
Right. You did tell me that trick. I have not tried it yet.
I used it with Connor Marks, who I've been playing Halo 5 with. I played with Connor, Jesse Keeter, and a guy named Rue. That's not his real name, but I won't say his real name. And we did a squad, because Halo 5 multiplayer, you do squads of 4, and you do objective-based multiplayer. So
Sure.
there's like Capture the Flag, which is... there's Deathmatch.
Bye, Laura.
Bye, Laura. Happy Saturnalia. There's Deathmatch, which is kind of ish. I'm okay with it, but and then there are a bunch of like.
Is there anything that's?
Yes,
Okay.
there are. There's one where it's one kill deaths or one death kill one. Yeah, so you die, right?
Yeah.
And it's last man standing.
Right.
Last person standing, because there's a lot of.
You used to call that man with the golden gun back in GoldenEye days.
Yeah, except for this is good. So I'm sorry. I know it's an unpopular opinion. GoldenEye sucked. It sucked. It sucked back then. It was a first. Don't get me wrong. An absolute first. Shooter on a console. Amazing. It was garbage back then. It's garbage today. So, yeah.
I don't agree with you back then, but I think if we played it now, then I probably would not enjoy it nearly.
I hated it back then. For real. I did not care for it at all. I liked Quake on the Dreamcast, though. Go fig. So, anyway, this game is weird because there's a flag in the middle, right?
This is Halo 5.
This is Halo 5.
Okay.
The specific mode I'm talking about, there's a flag in the middle, and if you capture the flag, you win. Or if you kill everybody on the other team, you win. But it's one death, you're done. Very cool. Like, it's kind of like a very, very small battle royale.
Okay.
So...
Flag death kill.
4 on 4. Flag death kill, yes. Fun stuff, though.
What do you want? By the way, Casey and Rob and Hawk say hi.
Hi.
What do you want?
She just
I
told you, like,
want
the little ring watches.
somebody to either teach me how or to play for me factions in Last of Us so that I can finally get my platinum trophy.
Wait, what's today's date?
Or
Connor's in town tomorrow. I bet he'll do it.
also, I could also take in lieu of that an advanced copy of Last of Us Part 2.
Unfinished.
Unfinished.
Just
what they have
on punch card.
right now. I'll take it.
It's just a bunch of code.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
I would like, I would like for our stuff to get funded, but if I'm being like pragmatic, I've got so much. So I guess just friends coming over, like that would be the best. Is friends coming over and hanging out and stuff. Because don't too much. It's because I have a job that lets me buy real internet. I mean, like, don't feel sorry for me. Or don't feel like it's cute or sweet or anything. I want more, and I want that more to be people.
Oh, okay.
That sounds really bad.
Yeah. I want that more to be people.
You don't have a basement.
Presents are people. I'm going to unwrap them all.
So Andy wants to collect all his friends.
Yes. Well, just their skin.
Thank you for finally noticing my Christmas sweater, Rob.
X-Wing, X-Wing. No, that's not a Christmas song. That's...
Casey
Wish you a Merry
Lee,
X-Wing.
please. Okay, so you go to the Two Bards website for the podcast, but do you download it or do you listen on the player that exists there? That's what we need to find out.
I just realized your sweater has a song built into it.
Does it?
We wish you a Merry X-Wing. We wish you a Merry X-Wing. We wish you a Merry X-Wing and a happy New Hope.
I like it.
Sound of one handcraft.
Casey Lee asks, Andy, so are you a princess now?
Oh, because you got bought by Disney.
And will Erin do nails for the guys? Andy first.
Hell yeah.
I already offered to do Andy's nails while he was sleeping.
Without my consent, or even telling me she was going to.
I already offered
but it
also while he was sleeping.
Yeah, it was really hard to get there's like a UV light you have to put your hand in, and that was
Woke
really
me right up.
difficult to get him to do it.
What does the UV light do? Just dries it quicker?
So it's a gel, and so it paints on just like nail polish, and then you stick it under a UV light for a minute, and then it hardens, so it's dry immediately, and then it lasts like 3 weeks.
Cool.
It makes your nails really strong.
It's like what they do on
And
your
then
teeth.
as it grows out, you just come back and do another little whoop. Your nails are good.
That's
again.
acrylic.
Oh,
That's acrylic.
I thought Jen said she could do that with the gel, but she likes.
I'm
the
sure
gel
you
as
can.
You probably can. I take them off because they're really fun to peel off. I don't actually do my nails a lot. I
well.
just
Watch your shoes on the leather, sir.
Fair enough.
a lot of YouTube.
There it is. Right on the leather.
Question. Since Patreon rolled back increases for now, are we still planning to move somewhere else other than Patreon for donations?
If we can find a place that works correctly or works better for us, absolutely. What Patreon showed is they're not really trustworthy. They rolled back because suddenly they lost like 40% of their revenue, not because people didn't like it, not because it hurt people. The apology looked great. It looked like, I read through it. It sounded, I have no way to tell what's heartfelt and what's not, though. And there is a history specifically of Jack Conte and the people he hires being pretty terrible, but thinking they're being like extremely benevolent, and it's just not true. For example, I think we talked a little bit about Jack Conte saying that literally he said he was on a paid vacation when they were on tour, and then complained to his fans that they weren't paying enough for tickets. So, good one, Jack. I think it's just I think there aren't a lot of business hipsters for a reason. So we'll see what happens. But we're currently looking, we've got a few options that we're looking at. Zoe's actually not, they themselves aren't making it, but they're working with people to be the first customer of a new crowdfunding thing that's supposed to be way better for international too, fewer fees for international people. We'll definitely look at that because they want it to be both big and small. Zoe would be the sort of medium-sized campaign on there. We would be a small, and they need that too. So, it's something we'll think about for sure. As it stands right now, I'm very, very, very happy for all the $1 and $2 pledges. I still, if you don't want to support Patreon, that's totally fine by me. So yeah, I think we're still kind of looking, but it's definitely not as urgent now that they're not being dicks to $1 and $2 patrons.
In response to your collecting friends, Casey says, I would visit, but I live very far away. This must be disappointing as I have tattoos and my skin would be nice.
We have some frames. I'm just saying.
And he did not know that you could download it, so he puts it on and listens to it right there on the site.
Okay.
And
right-click, save as. We'll download the MP3 file from those two MP3 links. There's a stereo link and a mono link.
Yeah.
Right-click and save as.
It's not very clear, but on the new format, it will be much more obvious.
But it will all be in Cyrillic.
You give a little, you
take
dig
a
away.
little.
And those are the facts of life.
They keep pulling me back in.
The Paranoia RPG game and broadcast this New Year's Eve into New Year's Day sounds interesting. Unfortunately, Andy and I will both be otherwise occupied. However, we will talk about the NPC clips that we might be able to do with you offline. But message us and we'll see if we can work something out.
Yeah, I could still potentially do something, but I'll be in Idaho with my kids. They might actually enjoy popping on. That'd be fun, but we'll talk about it.
Rob McLennan says, Conte doesn't understand sponsorship. There's a reason why NASCAR drivers change hats 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, I need a strap. I need a chin strap for my Bard hat. Yeah, so kinda. The biggest issue, and I think we touched on it, I think, is when your company is not producing anything, they're just host. I mean, they literally, the only thing they've had to do is add servers. That's the only thing Patreon has had to do to keep their service going.
I can't imagine them having to add many servers.
They haven't. What did they do though? They seeked out. Sought. The old sought more money. They wanted more money, so they sought out venture capital to the tune of something like 12 or 13 times their annual revenue. That is a bad move. That is a bad move. Growth, when you've hit a nice sustainable model that's bringing in good money, bad move. If they weren't bringing in good money, then it's time to reevaluate the model. Not keep the same model, jack up the prices, and go get money from other people when you know it's not whatever. So the two best things that have ever happened to Patreon are small creators and YouTube demonetizing videos. Those are the two best things that have ever happened to Patreon. So many people are moving over there. They had the opportunity to actually see organic growth in a very real way, but instead they went and grabbed tons of venture capital that then wants a return. So they're now being pressured to increase profitability more than the platform can,
but they're also disguising it
as for the creators.
Or as to keep their small business.
Yes.
Because, I mean, that's what the email made it seem like was, we need money to keep this small business running. But that money is not going to...
It's going to pay venture capitalists
those
back.
People,
yeah. Mm-hmm. So, if it were a situation where they were, like, producing content, like...
Yeah, they could have their own Patreon.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, Pomplamoose does. Pomplamoose has its own Patreon.
But Patreon could have its own Patreon.
Yeah, that's true. Patreon could kickstart. So the basically
on Indiegogo,
they're not offering a better experience either. They didn't give us anything better. The only thing they tried to give us better was telling us we got to keep 95% of our contributions while changing that. This is a model for the pay-to-play net neutrality thing again. Coming back to that, that's exactly what the pay-to-play net neutrality thing is about. Mm-hmm. It's like, I pay for my pipe, but now they're going to try and make Netflix pay to give me stuff too. But Netflix already pays for their pipe, but they're going to make them pay more based on the content they're serving. Bullshit. Garbage. I pay for a service. They pay for a service. That should be the end of it. Mm-hmm. And with Patreon, we pay for a certain amount we pay for their service out of the contributions we get. They get our fame, which brings money. You know, it's like it's a mutually beneficial place. There's one place for people to go and support us, but we are who bring those people. So it was a really stupid move. It was just so stupid, especially to tell creators that it was for them while it really wasn't. There's a disparity between what people are contributing and what we are seeing, and they're trying to tell us on our side that we're seeing more, and that's just not true. Mm. They're charging more, and we're seeing a little bit more of what they're now charging more of. We're actually getting less percentage on most of it.
So was the spin that they put on that, was it convincing, or was it just pretty...
No, people saw it right away.
Well, because most people have multiple pledges, and so if you're getting charged, what was it, 35 cents per pledge?
35 cents per pledge plus 2.9% of your pledge.
Like most people are going to notice right away, because there's very few people that are just doing one pledge. Like if they had done the 35-cent fee per user, people might have been like, all right, that seems reasonable.
Yeah, that's where that's fine with me. Like they could have kept the 5% too, but not charged the customers the 5%. You know, like I've heard some supporters say, including myself, not as a supporter but as a devil's advocate, I've heard people say, well, it's like paying for the stamp on your donation envelope, right? You're paying for the stamp on your donation envelope. But the fact of the matter is, that's not how everything was set up to begin with. that's not how, like, again, giving us options is fine. If you wanted to give someone an option where they could literally make that exact pay structure, that's fine, because that's between them and their supporters. They can make that ask. They could implement it however they wanted.
Well, and regardless, it limits how much you're going to want to donate. Because if you're, if you're sending out letters, and you have 100 letters, you might be like, maybe I won't send out 100 letters since it's 35 cents.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. So,
which would be $35.
Maybe they can make forever pledges. They can
there we go.
Yeah, they can make forever pledges that you buy that have an American flag on them.
And as far as like the creator side, they don't really care about the fee, but they're losing their donators.
Well, that's the
That's
funny.
the bad part.
Yeah, because it was a double whammy, because most creators I know, the smaller the creator, the more ethical they were. But most creators I know were pissed off that they had no option to save their patrons' money, especially for paid posts, because paid posts are $1 each usually. That's usually what you put on a paid post, and something like a drawing, a sketch, someone's butthole, whatever they're selling. You charge $1. Well, now every one of those becomes $1.39 to the person paying it, and you still get 95 cents, which is 70% of $1.39, but is 95% of $1, and Patreon selling it as 95% of the pledge. So that's the shaky math I hated.
So our questions this week, one of which we've already addressed, which was, will the Bards sing "Baby It's Cold Outside" to each other?
Nope.
The answer is yes.
We will sing it beside one another.
We're beside
But
ourselves.
not to one another. Rob McClendon asks, what is your best mentoring experience from either side of the equation, as the mentor or the mentoree?
Mentee fresh.
Or the mentat.
For me, I'd say my best mentoring equation was, or best measure. I was at Microsoft, and there was a developer, and before paired programming was like a real thing, we did paired programming, and it was awesome.
And what about mentoring?
Oh, I thought you just wanted the best. None. I'm terrible at that. I am fuck awful at it. No joke. I guess sitting with Brian, helping him learn editing, but that's about it. I'm terrible, and he'll contest to this. I am.
He just
fucking
kind of
awful. I just does it.
He just does it, and I was like, what'd you do there? And he's like, oh, I just did this and this and this, and then just moves on. Like, oh, I'll just remember that then. Okay.
Wasn't that yesterday we were talking about?
We have deadlines.
You were a bad teacher.
Yes, we were talking about it on the ride home last night.
You should never be a teacher.
I would
you just get so mad at everybody.
I don't get tenure, I get tenuous.
Yeah. And tetanus.
And tetanus. Tetanus.
Was that one of those puns that you had to polish before?
No, now you're experiencing it live, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Migo. Oh, that's...
Migo.
We're
back in the mountains of madness.
I don't know if I have one that sticks out in my brain more than others. Like, I have some teachers that were amazing, people. One in particular that was not only my history teacher, but also my driving instructor, my football coach, and a number of other things. His name's Mike Lemaster. He was in high school, and even though he taught history, he also taught like a whole lot of just life lessons and stuff. And it was just as a young person who's relatively shy and also had to deal with a sort of a stammer and stuff. It was really interesting to watch this incredibly charismatic person just captivate an audience just by just bullshitting, and like he was funny, and he had things to say, and he was incredibly wise, and I just really admired that, and I got a lot out of that parent to student relationship. But yeah, I mean, as far as again, nothing really specific, but I always try to watch people who are doing really good at what they do, especially in acting and stuff, and try to kind of break down what their process is and stuff, and try to cultivate it into my own if I like what they're doing a lot. Asking questions I might not necessarily ask myself, so they can, dial in their performance to a specific way. Yeah.
Cool. Erin?
I mean, we're sort of down at the old Fluff Factory. We're kind of mentoring. We have a student volunteer that comes in twice a week, and we teach her how to use Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop, and how to use like the CNC machines and sewing and all that kind of stuff. And that's been really fun to have a younger person at our work, because we make toys. And so it's kind of, I think it's a good experience to show them.
That's why it's called Fluff Factory, by the way.
Right. It's and it's nice to have them come in and see how to make higher quality, ethical, things, and show that you don't have to have like a sweatshop make your toys.
True.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a super fan before she came to be our student volunteer. So that's been really fun to just like kind of smash her dreams about how they're magically made and be like, actually, we just work all the time. But yeah, that's been a lot of fun. I really like that experience, and we get some life lesson-y kind of things going on.
Yeah. Nice.
Cool. I think I had one answer, but I think I'm going to change it. I think my dad is my best mentor.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was that a phone call I was about? You're doing it wrong.
I'm watching. Pull your head out of your ass. Do better.
Also compliment me at the end.
No, he was with, I was getting up telling him we were doing the podcast. He's like, "Oh, I'll call back." I'm like, "No. I'm already off camera. We're good." And I would say that as a mentor, what I'm getting the greatest satisfaction of, and if Brophy was conscious enough to be here, is teaching my acting for actors class. Mm-hmm. And I'm really developing an affinity to help people better their craft, and it's leading me to want to actually direct some theater, and then maybe eventually film. But we'll see how that goes. But that is bringing me a lot of joy, a lot more joy. It always used to be, no, I don't want to direct a show. I want to be in that show. I want to be that character. Now I'm able to stand back and go, no, I want to help someone else be that character. Yeah. So that has been very rewarding.
It seems to me it would be a very important threshold for someone who started out as a performer.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, because I can't play Romeo anymore, right. But I can help someone else play Romeo.
Sure. Actually,
and through them.
Dude, a geriatric Romeo and Juliet would be amazing. Because think about it. Like, who are the largest number of the largest growing population of STDs in the U.S. is people over the age of 70, and so it makes sense. They're dumb teenagers again.
That's kind of a sad story, though.
I just don't think they care.
Because I think the reason why is because they can't go and get those things.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why there's
buckskin
always
doesn't work really well.
Retirement homes. Imagine.
I whittled a condom.
Hopefully you'll know what this is. Casey Lee says, "Can we just let Drew Karpshin and Timothy Zahn write all the Star Wars films from now on? That would be great." I've read one of Timothy Zahn's books, I believe, of the Star Wars universe. Did they didn't write this one?
I don't think so. I don't have very popular opinions about this movie, but I don't have popular, non-popular opinions about this movie. I think it was okay. And I think that if you like Star Wars, you should absolutely see it. But I think there are a lot of people who could be writing Star Wars in very interesting ways right now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. And there isn't enough Star Wars for them all to get a chance to write. So I haven't read, I gotta be honest, Casey, I never read any of the extended universe books at all. None.
Oh, I have boxes of them.
Yeah.
I've read several as well. So you're talking, of course, about The Last Jedi.
Yeah, I don't want to get into it too much.
No, you don't have to. That's fine. But That's obviously the Star Wars
Yes.
thing that just. Have you seen it? Seen it at all, Scott?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
We
Everybody
all,
on the couch has, except for maybe you.
Except for me.
Yes, we're not going to talk about it.
Sounds good.
We're gonna do that when we come back after the new year.
Yeah.
That'll
I
give
will say
everybody
that
4 weeks to
Yeah.
watch it.
I will say that most of the critiques I'm seeing are pretty fucking gross. Like most of the negative reviews are messed up. It's
Yeah.
people being people, like, you know, people being like, don't change the thing that I love because you. And it's, you know, the
So opinions
social
that
justice
are valid
warrior,
because people are opinions, but that not helpful.
No, they're not even valid.
They're not even
They're
valid. People-
racist, sexist.
Oh,
yes,
gosh,
people
problems.
are throwing out social justice warrior as a pejorative again. And whenever someone throws out social justice warrior as a pejorative, I stop listening because it means they haven't actually looked usually at the viewpoint of the person they're talking about. So it sucks because I'm not really I didn't hate it at all. I just didn't like it for a few specific reasons that actually put me more in the social justice warrior camp, like a lot. She didn't like it, yeah.
But it's also not for me.
And it's not.
Thank you, Casey.
Yeah, it's not for me. It's not for. But that's fine. I love that more media isn't for me.
Yeah.
I, just on the surface, I am. We talked about this at the beginning of the podcast, or at the beginning of the whatever. I've been the target for way too long.
Yeah.
And there's plenty out there for me.
Right.
I don't need everything to be for me.
Absolutely.
This particular thing, I actually and again, I didn't hate it. I just didn't. It didn't do it for me. Great.
Yeah.
That's fine. And I love that people are loving it. I
Right.
think that's amazing that people are loving it. It's additive. It doesn't hurt anything that's come before it
Right.
at all, whether you like it or dislike
It
it.
doesn't ruin things.
No. I do want to know what a porg tastes like. Really bad.
Yeah. So I am thinking it's
About that time.
about that time. It's vast.
We really must go.
Vastly? No. Rapidly. That's the word I was looking for.
Approaching,
Rapidly approaching noon. I just want to say something positive about a phone. So I just...
A telephone?
You can't see it.
A cell phone telephone?
Because you can't get in close enough. But I will just say that I have not charged my phone for 2 days now. And there's still 35% battery. Now, on my Windows phone, I would have turned it on, unplugged it, and it would have been at 35% battery. So, really, really happy with this phone.
And this phone being...
The OnePlus 5T. They all know that because they listen to the podcast.
Except,
Shut up.
I just found out that in India, Finland, Denmark, and Sweden, there is a Star Wars version of this phone in white.
Horse shit.
And our
There's
friends,
also a version in horseshit, yes.
and our friends that we stayed with in Sweden would have allowed me to use their address and then shipped it to me. But it was like another $125. It's like 57,000 kroner. So it was like
That's too many kroner.
$687. And
Yeah, can't you just...
I
kinda
can't.
Star Wars Otterbox or something? You know?
Some stickers on it.
Yeah.
It had special stuff.
Yeah.
And there was
Did
a
it
Star
turn into
Wars
a
Easter
lightsaber?
egg because it was a
Totally
droid.
It
It
did.
probably turned into a BB-8.
Oh, I do love the BB-90. I do want to say
Yeah.
that. There, don't I can't spoil it for you, but I love the BB-90 so much.
Little
You don't.
Death-
Yeah.
little
Can't wait.
Death Star thing.
Oh, man. It's a little...
Yeah.
I'm gonna see it.
So, yeah, I think unless anyone else has anything to say on if there's anyone still on the Discord,
Do we have our patrons to thank?
we do have our patrons to thank, and Ginger is now a fan for life. Thank you, Ginger. Discord.twobards.com. Ginger, come on and chat with folks and listen to things. I do not have a list of the patrons. Let's see what we can do.
I don't know. If
Special thanks to
Hawk Robinson,
Leslie Sedlak,
Rob McLennan is next. I forget.
Jay
Hold on, I have it.
Blanken,
Jennifer Rivenberg. Let's just go to the end.
Zombie Orpheus Entertainment. Digby Davis
LLC.
LLC.
Gordon D. Duke. Todd McKimmey. Justin Everett.
No,
Nope.
Justin.
Nope.
No. Adam Morey.
Stuart Hume Soon. He changed it when he thought he was going to have to pay on the 18th, so I'm going to give it to him.
Tim Martin. Paula Moran.
A lot of Jerv. Jay Blanken? Or is that another gone?
No. Jay's up there.
Good radio.
Tim Meadows.
Tim Meadows. Don Pardo.
Do you have it?
You're all thanks. You get it.
I might have it in Teams.
Oh, it's definitely in Teams.
I haven't opened Teams in forever.
I don't have Teams on here anymore.
To all those out there while they're looking that up, and probably going to reiterate all of those names again. Thank you very much for all of the things, because I know that a lot of you fans are fans of other things, including things that I've done and whatnot. So thank you very much for always tuning in and being a part of the conversation and sharing your time with us and stuff and opinions and having
it's not doing it.
Having a good old time that way. So thank you very much for that relationship, and I hope you all have a very happy holidays.
Have a holiday,
whatever that may be.
It's the best time of the year.
And I thought that was a relatively good amount of vamping time, so I assume that they have it now.
We don't.
Okay.
We might. Hold on.
But
Erin, get anything to say to the lovely folks sitting?
We're having a studio open party at the Fluff Factory.
Yes, talk about that.
On Thursday evening from 4 to 8. It's at
Adam
the Old
Morey
Rainier Brewery. Oh, Andy's just going. He's going.
Well, no. It's Erin's time right now.
Okay, go ahead, Erin.
So the Fluff Factory is not a euphemism.
It's a combination of Careful It Bites, and which is made by Khalees Penny. And
you guys make
Martin Sailor, and we all make handmade, high quality toys that we sell at Pike Place Market. And we're gonna have food made by my cousin Amber, who is amazing. You have eaten her food. Delicious. And we're gonna have drinks and activities. It is kid friendly, and it's kind of cool because the brewery is a really cool place.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice.
That's where I'm gonna be. That's where Andy's gonna be.
So if you're in Seattle, come on down to the Old Rainier Brewery on Thursday.
No, that's not in Georgetown. That's in
it's further
the
closer
Big
to
R.
Seattle. Yeah, the Big R.
Yeah, Big R.
Big R. Free parking.
Because now down in Georgetown, they've got, this is the original Rainier Malt House. This is the original Rainier. Yeah.
We've got everybody that's on this list, unfortunately, already. We've said everybody.
Well, that's fun.
Oh, good.
Great.
Okay.
Good memories.
No. On the list of our cheat list of people who've joined the Discord. So we still don't have the original list.
Oh, okay. Well, again, you say it every time, and you got most of them. So.
Rival guy.
I was waiting for Rival Guy.
Why forget Rival Guy?
Brad Roberts.
Paul Moran.
Yeah.
Gurney Duke.
Laura Adams.
Round two.
They're
going to get it this time?
Well, we didn't learn it because it was really like, it changed a lot.
It changed a lot, but now
it's been static for so long, and we just haven't memorized it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have a list that just we leave up.
James
James
Peters.
Gordon D. Duke, DVD LLC.
Rob McLennan.
Tim Martin. Yeah.
We got Hawk.
We got Lotta.
We got Laura.
Bo Pritchard actually is back.
Pritchard's
back on.
Not
I
Gretchen
don't think
Wiener.
Casey Lee is unless he's under a pseudonym.
Yeah, I don't know any of the pseudonyms.
So, thank you to all the patrons.
Thank you to all of our patrons.
You know who you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every month we suck a little bit out of your bank account.
We wish we could remember. We wish we could remember.
We wish we could remember, but we can't.
All right. So this is the third annual Bardcast holiday video extravaganza thing.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for inviting me to hang out with you guys.
As always.
And to all, a good night.
Good night.
We're forgetting the sign off, aren't we?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
Jazz hands.
Ow!
Oh.
Phone hit my penis.